back at it with another episode of Words with Walner. I am your temporary host today, Joel Matthew, filling in for Steve Miller. And we have John Walner, the president of Walner Law. And we have a very special guest with us today. We've got Mr. Carl West, CEO of MG Media, activist, businessman, leader of TBT News. Where do we start? Where do we end with your introduction, Carl?
You did it. Start and end it. That's it. That's enough, man. The rest is for everybody to go and explore.
Nice. So fill us in on how you guys know each other and what you've worked on together.
I met you, John, through Andrew, of course, the 6 degrees of separation dude. He connects all of us.
He does.
And so, and he told me, he said, when we was getting ready to meet, he told me, he said, Carl's the funniest dude you ever want to meet. This dude, he's cool, but he's funny. I said, he better be. That's what I said, he better be. Because don't bring me no boring cat, man, trying to talk to me, because I don't want to hear all that. And then you ended up being a cool, funny cat. We went to dinner that day, man. He was hilarious. He was entertaining the whole restaurant.
That's what he does.
Matter of fact, they had to move us. They moved us. What's your spot right there? Was it on Madison? What was that place?
I forgot. Not Sienna Tavern. I forgot where we went.
No, it was on Madison, right off Dearborn.
Madison, Dearborn.
Yeah.
Did you get kicked out or you just get moved?
They moved us.
If was Eric Russell with us? Because we would have got kicked out for sure.
It was just me and you.
Oh, right. You and I went to dinner alone.
And they moved us.
Yeah, you and I hung out
They had us
together.
They had us on a little wall table because they didn't realize it was you. And then when they saw you come in and the manager saw us at the table, and because I was like, John, this is the best you can get us.
Carl's cool. Look at him. He's all chill. Look at his outfit. He's relaxed. By the way, as we talk today, it's like 0 degrees outside. Chicago has just faced the worst chill for the last 4 days. We've been in the 0 degree weather or negative degree weather. And I was talking to Carl the other day. He's in Savannah, Georgia. One of my favorite places in the country. It's one of the oldest cities in the United States. And it is just a magical place. You have the charm of the South and the great Southern cooking, but yet you have tremendous history there.
The history.
Tremendous
and the
history.
Southern hospitality is off the... that's what I love the most about it. People are so nice. I didn't know people could be that nice in that part of the South, but I was surprised.
So you're living the dream right now. You're going south in the winter and to your Savannah house.
And I only came back here just to tape this.
Yeah.
That's true. I asked him what he's doing. Where are you? And he says, I'm in Savannah. That's one of my family's favorite places to go. We were there 7 straight years, going, bringing the kids and showing them the history of our country. We're talking about the Civil War. One of the first defenses that United States had against the British in Savannah, Georgia.
And John, you don't listen to because I told you when you said let's meet. I'm telling him I'm in Savannah for the winter, and I'm thinking he would, like March, April. Yeah. I get the invite. It's like next week. I'm like, did you? I didn't even say anything. I was like, okay, whatever.
I'll be there.
He's always so. And I met Carl at a attorney's Christmas party. He was with Andrew Stroth, and my life has just grown ever since meeting Andrew and the people that he's put in our lives, my lives, and Joel,
mine too,
and Joel. We met. So many people that have been on this podcast, and we had Cam Buckner. We were helping him run for mayor, and Joel was doing the Fortress Consulting, who we're with today, was doing his website and his digital campaign. And we met Cam privately through Andrew Stroth, who's one of the biggest fighters for justice in the Black community who are victims of police violence. And he is one of our, through his charity Truth, Hope, and Justice. Mm-hmm. And he is bringing Chicagoans together. You know how Carl just talked about Savannah, how nice and hospitality. Well, this is what Andrew and Carl, we just had Joe Williams and Sabrina King and Captain Zimmerman. All these people are trying to bring Chicago together. It's all races, ages, and backgrounds to have a more peaceful Chicago. How about peaceful? Chicago is such a... the public has their perception, and the citizens of me living here is crime and violence, and especially in COVID, Carl, you had you go, oh, Walner, you're privileged. You live in an upscale community, and there's people are getting their cars carjacked. In the girl,
Where you live at?
I live on 2600 Fullerton in Ashland on the north side.
What's that called?
Lakeview.
Lakeview. Okay.
Live in Lakeview.
Y'all used to be peaceful, no more.
No,
Yeah.
so the girl behind me, I don't even tell you this, Joel. She's pulling out of her garage. She's an 8-year-old in the car. They put a gun to her head, and she says, "Please give me my kid back." And they drove away with the kid in, and they finally took the kid out. And so I think it all broke out during COVID, and it maybe came from inequalities of income inequality, lack of jobs, lack of their future. Where are we going? How are we being put down educationally? Supported by food in the neighborhood, good foods, good jobs, and calm the crime down and the violence that are coming to communities. Is this what you think happened during COVID in Chicago?
The hood boys just smartened up.
They did.
They did. They realized where the money was at.
No, it's true. So you
They
have
realized they was like, you know why we keep robbing the
Yeah.
poor folks on the south end of
right. So they're coming
We
to.
just go up to John. But they saw your commercial. they said, "What does he live at?"
It's unbelievable.
Saw the billboard.
They said, "What does he live at?" And they did their research because they do research. You got phones now. It just gives you everything. And they found out you live in Lakeview, and they was like, "Well, that's where we going."
Yeah.
That's where
So
we
you're
going.
responsible for the uptick in crime
I
in
love
Lakeview.
that. Every business, Joel, in the Loop was just smashed into 4 times. The CVS next to our office in the Loop, the Walgreens is out of business, CVS closer. They keep breaking into the same places and giving retailers no reason to stay in the Loop. And by the way, Carl, I don't even know if you know this, the real estate in the Loop, our building at 33 North LaSalle, we're right next to City Hall, half full. All the buildings around me.
But that was because of COVID, though, right?
You think so? People not coming back
not
to
coming
work?
back to work. I mean, right.
No desire to come back to work. It's a changing work environment.
Yeah.
Even for us at Walner Law, Joel, we now have 5 people working in Columbia for us because we can't even find people that are willing to come into the office. They're thinking, the young kids, I'm not, for all the young people out there, isn't it better to learn together, to work together in the same office, to be mentored and learn to grow? And now we're fighting to get employees just to come into the office. So you have, unfortunately, we have employees making $22,000 a year in Columbia. They've never missed a day of work. They work longer than they're supposed to. Their dogs are never sick. They're never at a funeral. They don't call in sick. Not ever.
You paying them $22,000.
They
Why
get
would they do any of that?
In
Their normal
Columbia, the cost
lifestyle.
of
Their
living.
normal lifestyle is like a G. So if you give them $20,000,
Yeah.
they have all the reason in the world to show up and never call off.
Right. So I wish we had this kind of work ethic. We
Pay your
try.
employees here $220.
Right. We try to get the best employees. We pay them the most
Minimum
money.
wage.
We give them the upper scale. We give them everything to succeed at their job, continuous education, how to be more organized, how we give them continuous education to grow, to treat our clients better with more respect and dignity.
So why are you not
and
coming
care
to work then? You
and
gotta-
empathy.
That's the question. Why are they not coming?
I don't know.
I think there's just been a cultural shift in the employee-employer
I
relationship.
swear, at Walner Law, we've represented over 10,000 people. We're in every community. We are trying to build trust and confidence community to use us because we bring our clients dignity, respect, care, and the best legal representation they could get. And we are trying to get our employees involved to be on the same page as I am. How my father was, I started this business in 1961, and I took it over in 25 years ago.
Wow.
But to get employees to be on the same page as you with what happened with COVID and now their attitudes, bad attitudes. We are trying to look for the best employees that want to grow together because you grow here, you can leave us and be a superstar in other jobs and bring back to your community. And just as our previous guests, we were talking to Joe Williams, we've talked to Sabrina King and Captain Zimmerman and Teal Hardiman and Andrew Stroth and other great people on this Words with Walner. We're all trying to do the same thing, is work together to grow the communities that we are on, to give people trust that and education to be better people, to be better citizens, so that we don't have what hopefully will never be a COVID type situation where there's loss of hope and worry, and doing violence to your own community, shutting down Lakeshore Drive, breaking the businesses,
I think,
crushing the spirit and the will of the people.
I think what Joe said was it's a cultural shift. And so college was supposed to be the breeding ground for what they call workforce development, teaching you the discipline, commitment. But now I think what has to happen is there has to be another tier after college now to go into that workforce development in terms of teaching people the skill sets. And it's not really the skill set anymore, because people, I mean, we deal with an intelligent society nowadays, really. They play dumb, but our society is more intelligent now than anything, because we've had all these technologies that have given us this newfound information. What we need now is a psyche. It got to be a mental psyche shift. We need to train people in another phase after college now, because again, there's something about not wanting to be at a place for a long period of time, and it's called the workplace. So we got to figure out how to get people mind mentally, because they can do, the skill set is there. Skill set is there. We know, we've seen, you can go out and interview 20 competent folks, right? But the one that has that drive to want to get up and be there, right, is one that you probably going to take first, right? His or her commitment to be there, and to learn under your tutelage. But the intellectual capacity, they all have it now.
I agree. I think for me personally, that was a shift in the way that we hired, is more for attributes versus skills, because skills can be taught and grown, but I mean, obviously they have to have some level of skills. Absolutely. But attributes of attitude and partner, like really teamwork and working hard, and buying in, taking ownership, those are all important attributes.
Yeah, because you can't buy that. You can't buy a person who don't want to get up and work hard. Right. He got to be they got to be almost self-motivated, self-inspired. Right. And again, you can teach them the skill set, teach them what you need to know. I remember that was one of the first things I learned in my business when I started. I had met Russell Simmons, and I asked him that question. I was like,
Is that the TM, the meditator?
That's him.
I'm saying he finds that meditation and teaching it to everyone is also helpful in your key to success.
That's his new business now. Because he's way over somewhere in some other foreign land. But what he said to me was that find that person who they don't have to be the smartest, they don't have to be the most educated, but find that person who will work the hardest for you, and you teach them everything you want them to know. Then eventually they will go out and replicate that somewhere else, right? Want to do their own thing, but you can't worry about that. You're happy for them as long as they give you the best of what they can give you during the duration that they in your environment. And I thought that was some very good advice that I got. And I was probably 19 or 20 when I got that from him.
Wow.
And I remembered that.
He's a Chicagoan?
No, he's out of New York, man.
Okay, I did not know that.
He's a New York boy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
So we talked about how you guys have met, but how have you guys partnered? Because you both care deeply about the community and developing talent, developing leadership.
Can I just say something? I just wanted to just add on to what Carl said. So the attitude of not wanting to be in the office, or not attitude to take ownership, to make yourself better, or to be part of an organization and grow with them, it was a shell shock to me and to my contemporaries. And I joined an organization 2 years ago down in Atlanta, where I was, for the first time in my life, learning skills to bring employees in that want to be there, how to teach them to grow, like how to identify the people to hire for your office that are going to be there. And I was in a group of 82 personal injury lawyers, because it's not only personal injury lawyers, it's all businesses that Carl was talking about here today, about why aren't people wanting to work and stay longer than 3 months in a job. I'm not kidding. We put so much time into training a new employee. Because we have someone sit with them for 3 months and teach them how to use our software system, how to be organized, how to talk to the clients. We teach them how to talk on the phone, how to write the correct emails, how they've learned before, how to
That's where y'all making a mistake at.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
As we talked about this cultural shift that Joe stated, you have to get people to buy into the dream.
Right.
That's right.
You have to get people today to buy into the dream that is possible. Success at the highest level is possible. I'm looking at Michael Jordan, so it makes me
right.
realize that people, because the world has become so cynical with so much, and I like to use the word corruption in a sense, but that has its place. And people we see these billionaires, and I'm a free enterprise dude. I'm a capitalist. You should be able to make as much money as you can if you put the hard sweat and equity into the business to, but we see an excessive life, right? And people like, if you comparing me to him, I'll never be able to make that.
Right.
And so I always say, here's what's interesting about the world. You see let's just use Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, with Facebook. What I learned is that there's probably about 100 companies like Facebook in that smaller tier.
Right.
So people saying, well, I'll never be able to do that. But you don't have to be able to do that. You can do anything from here to there that will give you the same satisfaction, the same, and make money, make a living, and secure yourself, and employ great people. We have to get people to believe in the dream that is possible, not just come and do this assignment and work and get a paycheck. Right. Folks are like, that's not that important to me anymore.
Right.
Can I buy into the dream of my possibilities?
I did misspeak. I'm sorry. I didn't articulate the full circle, but we are trying. We want people to feel like Carl said. We're trying. This is the organization I joined to identify those people and how to get them to buy into it also. So now when we interview someone, we hire them, we give them a questionnaire. What brings joy to your life? Like, if it wasn't a cash bonus, what other things that are make you happy that the employer could give to you? I don't know if you meant that entirely, but this is what we're trying to find. What brings you sense of fulfillment and joy to take ownership?
And that's
of
a good question to ask. It really is.
So we have to fill out a form on that.
You feel after you hire or before?
Well, after we hire them.
You should ask that question before you hire them.
Yeah,
That's
really good feedback.
Because if they don't feel that way after you hire them, it's too late. You'd already invested in the hire. You should ask that question them before. When you meet qualified candidates, you ask them that question.
Yeah.
What it is that motivates you to be the best, to want to excel to the next level for your own benefit, not the benefit of this company, for your own benefit. What does it take? What is your dream? I try to push excellence. Everybody I come in contact with, because I read a book that talked about, are you the best at what you do? And of course, a person like me or you and you, John, we think that we probably are, and we'll say, oh yes, because we have some sense of success. But who are you measuring yourself against? Not somebody like you. You're going to measure yourself against somebody who was at the pinnacle. And what I found out is that we are probably all operating, no matter how successful we may be, we probably only operate at about 70%.
Yeah.
And that's why I would assume that Joel is meeting with us, having that tutelage coming in, so that he probably understand. You probably have realized that, hey, there's more. There's more.
Yeah.
And and if you want to be extremely, not just the successful part, because you figure that out. Once you get the formula, you know what that is.
Yeah.
How do I get the best out of myself?
Yeah.
Because before you can go and ask your employees to give you the best to them, how do I get the best out of myself?
Right.
And that's what Michael has taught me.
Yeah.
How to get the best out of myself, how to make every moment count. And if I'm not the best, what do I have to do to be the best?
Right.
And so, again, you only operating at about 70%. As smart as you are, and as successful you are, there's so much more for you to do, for you to grow. But you don't care now. You got so much money, you don't even care.
In the break, I think we were having one of the best conversations I've had in a long time about talent, growing yourself, and how to motivate people to believe that there's a door of growth and opportunity in your corporation for them. And in the meantime, Carl was abusing me at the end of each sentence when we were talking.
Yeah.
But I want to tell
Let's give you a different perspective, man. I mean, I'm a prophetic thought leader.
Yeah. I think something you're doing is working because you have amazing retention and tenure at your place.
Despite Carl's sarcastic and his attack, that at Walner Law, we are bringing in a lot of experts to grow our employees to be the best they can be and to feel great about themselves. We are constantly bringing in experts for our employees to make them better for the job so they can serve you, our clients, better and to give you greater success and bigger money damages for the injuries that you suffer. But I agree with Carl, and I also have a coach to make me a better employee and a better person, a better husband, a better father. So I'm always working on myself, whether it's to the standards that Carl West here is,
Let me actually
give him an hour. He needs 1 hour with your team.
Let me ask you a question.
Carl wants to come in and train all the employees.
I do. Let me ask you a question. You say you bring in experts to teach your employees to be the best. Here's something that you got to think about. Do your employees look at you as being the best?
Right.
Do they look at you? Because you can bring these people in, but that's not who they're going to model themselves after. They're going to hear this person. They may sound great, maybe a rah, rah, rah. But when they leave, who they going to look at every single day is you. Do they look at you as being the ultimate great? Are you the GOAT in what you do? And if they don't see that in you, you know what they're going to say? I can do what he do. I can do that. Why don't I have the tailor-made suits on and the Buster Brown shoes and the electronic business card and meet these great
don't forget the watch
and the dope watch? Why I'm doing that? Because I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
If your employee's looking at you like, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, that's where you lost them.
Right.
I'm telling you
that I am.
Everybody had to think that everybody knew Michael Jordan was the best. They couldn't even challenge that. Right. And what the whole thing was, what he said in the document, you got to come up here to me. You got to meet me if you want to win the championship. I wanted to win.
Yeah. Right.
No, I promise you, Kyle, and I promise any person that wants to use Walner Law that I am working on myself. And that is true, to be better for you.
Don't tell them that.
And I am telling you now, I do think I'm one of the best personal injuries in the city, but could I be better and greater? Could I have more employees look after me to say, we want to model ourselves on behalf of your work ethic, your behavior, and how you treat the client? Because I do, Carl, and Joel knows this. By the way, to grow, I knew we weren't there, and when I met Joel, that he said to me, "What does your company stand for? What did you stand for? Let's put an organizational chart so your employees know what you stand for, so your future clients know what you stand for." And with Fortress Consulting, we worked for over 6 months on doing our core values. Who do we stand for? To give you the most professional services possible, but Joe changed it. We've got this, and we've got you. And how do we got you? With empathy, dignity, accountability, teamwork, and with Joel and the Fortress team. So, Carl, despite what you say, we are learning to grow and to go better, and to giving up something of myself and being vulnerable and saying, you know what, Joe Matthews, we need you. We need Fortress Consulting.
Why is it in spite of? Always say it's in addition to.
In addition to, fine. In addition to.
The language is important.
I hear you. In addition to.
I'm a writer.
That's true.
The language is in addition to, Carl, not in spite of.
Right.
I agree.
Remember that.
Yeah. But I remember that conversation because what we identified is you're actually here. You're Chicago's personal injury lawyer. You're in the community. You're not the guy on the billboard that sits in Florida or doesn't practice or just
Georgia.
Farms it out or just the marketing engine. But you're actually Chicago's guy, and you actually care about the community.
And what you've seen in Fortress is what I'm doing in the communities, and I'm going there, and I enjoy what I do. I enjoy trying to empower communities that weren't so fortunate as I was to start out in life with a family that put pressure on me to succeed in a different model than parents.
You want me to add something else to that?
Yes. In addition to.
But that's wonderful. I'm glad you philanthropic in your beliefs. That's totally different than right in your profession, in your workplace. People will respect you and ask you for donations because of that. But we talking about how you again. If somebody hiring employees is like being traded from one team to the next, you got always love to look at everything in the sports related piece, because sports is the one thing you can measure because of the scoreboard. In business, it's hard to have a scoreboard. People measure by how much money you make, right? That's not a real scoreboard to me. Sports, you can see an actual scoreboard. You can see somebody's stats. You can watch a guy go from scoring 12 points a game, and the next 3 years he's averaging 25 and he's an all-star. We can literally see that. So, again, are you having new employees come in? It's like a guy being traded from one firm to the next. He has to know that firm is going to take me to the championship, and I'm going to play a role in that because I'm on a team with the GOAT. I'm on a team with the greatest. I'm telling you, you have to. To me, you think I'm joking, but
I know you're not joking. This is what we're learning in the workforce now.
This culture shift, you have to be able to demonstrate that to a person you bringing in. Are you trying to hire me to do this X, Y, and Z? Right. Wait, are you the GOAT? Mm-hmm. Are you the best at what you do? Right. And I would want to know that, because I'm like, if I'm better than you, and then why don't you come work for me or let me take your role? Why don't we switch seats? Right. I'm telling you, this is what people are thinking now, and COVID really did that. It really did to a degree. It was one of the elements of it, because people took off and started assessing their own lives and looking at where they came from and where they want to go back to, and they were saying, I don't want to go back to that.
Right.
I don't want to go back to that with those people, because those people didn't have my best interests at hand. They just wanted to use me for servitude. But I want to be with the people that I consider to be the GOAT, and I want to grow with them and win championships. That's why sports is blowing up, because everybody watched that for what? That winning shot, the winning formula, man. To me, I grew up reading Pat Riley's book. Yeah. I grew up reading Phil Jackson's book. Right. Wow. Those things taught me that. Yeah. Read those books, and then come hire me. I'll teach. I'll have all your employees, and I'm only going to charge you a fraction.
But by the way, and what Carl's saying is this cultural shift that happened with TikTok or Instagram and COVID turned the world on its head. So we've got to be better. I've got to be better, because we are in a shift where the culture shock of the future employees and the future growth of our firm. Hey, let's face it, I'm 61 now, it's 71. I want to make sure this firm survives in Chicago and still is a force in Chicago personal injury law. So we're trying to grow this firm, grow our employees, to take ownership, to take over Walner Law, and we are fighting a battle of minds right now in the city of Chicago, and it's going on all over the world, about attitudes in the workplace, attitudes for growth, and looking for the easy way out. Sit in your house, make TikTok videos, work away from your office. And Carl was just telling us in the break here, get them in front of you, get them in the office. Why are we having employees that are sitting at home? Why are you not putting bodies on bodies, working together as a team? Because you can't, there's this popular show on TV, Ted Lasso, you can't win a championship in the Premier League when you're at home.
I want Joe to hear this, and I'm going to tell you. Said something about continuing this company, continuing Walner Associates. I'm going to give you an example. I may be wrong, but I guarantee I'm not. You have a son who just became an attorney, right?
It's true.
And I guarantee you, your son probably looks at you and say, I'm a better lawyer than you.
This is true. I know. I didn't even talk about this with Carl. But
I guarantee he thinks he's a better lawyer than you. So he don't even see you as the GOAT.
You got my son coming out of law school in May. He graduated Northwestern Law School, cum laude, top of his class. And he's working for an immigration law firm representing undocumented minors that come in the United States. I said, why don't you come here? So he goes, I don't see myself there. I don't see myself growing there. And by the way, he was offered the biggest salaries at Kirkland Ellis, Jenner Block, McDermott, Will, and Emery. He said, I don't need the money. I'm not going to work for money. I'm going to work for the people, and it's not going to be with you. So we have to change kids' attitudes like this. And he's 30 years old. And if you're talking about starting out, graduating law school, he worked in Guatemala as a teacher, and he worked for Ogilvy and Mather, with big brands, Corona, Cronextra, Modelo, Huggies, Tide Pods. And he left them. I said, why'd you leave there? He goes, I'm done with that. And we had to change these attitudes of young people. How come he's not growing with Ogilvy Mather, one of the biggest advertising firms? It wasn't for him.
But it's understandable. As I said this, Joe, I said this, and I asked him a question. He admitted it. Talking about the new employees, and I said to him, I bet his son thinks he's smarter than him. He just got his law degree, right? Yeah. Correct? His son probably thinks he's a better lawyer than you. That's the interpretation. He ain't supposed to think that. It ain't no fault of yours, but it is. Because the impression he should have is my dad is the GOAT. I want to come work for you. I want to be with the best to do the work for the people still. He don't see you as the GOAT. Daughter, I learned that from my daughter. I swear to God. I had to stop. And this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. She was 16, 17. She was like, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better than you. And I was like, I was insulted because I'm thinking she was saying that I wasn't no good first.
Right.
And then when I thought about what she was saying was, I consider you to be somebody, right, compared to the others the others' parents that I see. And I took it as a compliment. But now that she's 21, she don't think I'm better than you. I can do what you do. I'm better than you now.
Right.
And I'm like, you ain't even done nothing that I've done. How do you feel that way? It's just the mindset of young people because they saying, this stuff you doing, man, I can do this.
Right.
They don't even see what goes into it. They just automatically assume they're better than you. Now, how do you make that cultural shift from them to not to feel that way is the things I said earlier. And we all look. I've had that. My daughter told me that, and so don't feel bad because your son thinks he's better than you. He just came out of law school. He always like, Dad, I'm better than you. I should run your company. Go sit down somewhere. You should have said, You should have said, son, here's the company, and I'm gonna sit down. I bet you would have said, okay.
If anyone is listening and getting motivated, because I'm motivated to even grow better, and if you're looking to grow with Walner Law, whether you're a paralegal, whether you want to be a lawyer, we'll have Carl, but we will get you into law school. If you want to come work for us as a paralegal, an investigator, learning the legal process and how to help others, we're there for you. And if you're a young lawyer, you want to come and fight for the rights of those who are wronged by others, and you want to be in a team that people want to grow with you, come be with us. We've been around since 1961. We're getting better and growing and learning what's going on in your world and how to meet your needs and how those needs can meet our clients' needs.
And I agree with him.
And I'm enlightened by this conversation.
No. That's why I'm here with you and we friends because guess what? I consider him to be the GOAT.
But I'm proud to know you. I'm lucky and blessed that I've met Carl. Opportunities are I'm at a place where I didn't want to be, networking with other lawyers who you think you're better than, but you have to be humble and you got to meet other people and hear what they're doing in their businesses. And here Carl was probably doing the same networking in business and growing his company. And that's how we met. Just a chance meeting on a freezing night around Christmas time.
I still can't believe it though. I mean, really. You know why I say that? First thing I said to you was, I seen that commercials. I've been seeing your daddy's commercial. I'm thinking it was him. He said, "No, it's my daddy." I said, "I've been seeing those commercials in my neighborhood, in my block, my neighborhood, the billboards on television all my life." Because your daddy been running. I was born in the late '60s, so if your dad started a business
'79, he started running the commercials.
And so
when it became legal,
I remember all his commercials. At the time, it was called Walner.
Harvey L. Walner and
Associates, right? He had the whole name.
Dialed.
And then when did you shorten it up? Was it you shortened it or he shortened it?
I shortened it to Walner Law, also reflecting the point that I took the company over. 25 years ago, I wanted to be modeled in my image, learning from him. Because I worked for my dad since I was 16 years old in the law firm.
And he was your GOAT, wasn't he?
Right. And then I changed it to Walner Law. We rebranded ourselves with Help of Joel. We're now, called Walner Law. 312-8 million. Walner Law 312-8 million. or go to
How did you get that number? I was
walnerlaw.com.
stunned. Like, how did you get that number?
Oh, this is a good story too.
Yeah, we bought. I'm in the short code business. I don't know if you guys know short codes, like, text donate to 323232, or you see these Nugenics commercials, text
You in that business?
hair to certain code. Well, Walner Law, we own the short code lawyer, legal, injury, money, coupon. I own all the 8 million numbers in Illinois, Wisconsin, Northwest Indiana. I own all the 9 million numbers in Illinois, and we have an Arizona law firm, 4809 million, but I own all the 9 million area codes.
That's what you should tell your employees, the new employees, that they be like, you are incredible. Now that's the selling point.
Yeah.
Now you the GOAT.
Right.
Because that's dope.
We're trying to find
That's
the best
dope.
call to action for people to know us, and the best call to action is call or text us at 312-8-million, or reach us at walnerlaw.com. And Joel here at Fortress Consulting built our website, changed our website, made it more dynamic. It was a painful process. We were like 9 months at a website I knew needed to work, but I took the time. I listened to Joel at Fortress, and we hung in there, and now it's more dynamic and more user-friendly. And we are honored to work with Joel at Fortress.
Because you're dealing with the GOAT.
Yeah, I agree. And
Okay.
and Tiffany here, who's filming us, and Heather, who fights for Walner Law when and Bejoy here. There's a big team at Fortress and the big team behind Walner Law, and we're blessed to have them. We're blessed to have you, Carl, here with us
No, you're
today.
not.
And I thank you for coming here from Savannah,
That's
Georgia.
it?
And
Joe had
giving
another couple of questions, man.
Go ahead. Okay. Let's hear
I want to hear more about the Carl story, but that can be on the next podcast.
Yes.
But Carl, what's next for you and what you're building?
Wow. Well, first, the most exciting thing for me right now is the book. And
What's the title of the
it's
book?
called The Support System. Who will help guide them? The Power of Mentoring. This book is about 7 years in the makings, if not longer than that. And I was going to self-publish it about 3 years ago, and I really didn't want to put that pressure on myself. So I said, I'll wait and hold out for a publisher. And I was going to try to, Tavis Smiley had a publishing imprint, but then he folded a few years ago. There was another celebrity had a publishing imprint, and I didn't really like the dynamics of how they was situated. And so then finally a guy who I really respected and loved, he actually published a couple of he actually published Tabitha's book, The Covenant, and he published a couple of Carnell West's books, and it's called Third World Press, Hakeem Adabuki. He finally called me and said, Carl, I got your stuff over here. We don't normally do, because they normally do kind of black power books, like real political books. And so this is the first time they're going to publish a book that's kind of social in a sense. There's not no black power movement. There's no government political stuff. This is strictly about what we're going to do, as we all talked about the social aspects of the community, what we need to do to be bigger, better, stronger for our youth as mentors to them, and how important it is for youth to have mentors. We got to be mentors. They got to have mentors. So it's really a wonderful, well-written book about walking us through that journey. I got anecdotes of people who talk about who mentored them and how important that was to have them. And so, that's coming out in April.
We'd love to
April
order a
the
ton of
9th.
books and give it to the organizations that we support to give to the kids.
That's already. I already got that on my.
I'm saying that we would like it as well
you
to
already know
distribute
you
your
will.
book to our
You
clients.
will. I got you already on the books for that. I already wrote you down.
Well, thanks for coming in, Carl. Great talking with you.
Hey, man, thank
great,
you.
Joel, thanks for moderating our discussion. And we
course.
look forward, if you ever need a lawyer, that you've been a victim of an injury, to call Walner Law at 312-8-million.
That's right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Carl.